So this team is starting to play like a desperate team, a team that says, hey, you know what? We do have some talent. We could play with some guys. Now, we're going to find out just how good they are over the next 5 series. Mets, Phillies, Yankees, Diamondbacks, and Rangers. Cannot wait for this 5-series stretch against these big boy teams. Now, the Mets are struggling. They've lost 8 of 10, but this is the start of it before you get to Philadelphia. They're playing like a desperate team, knowing that the stakes are high for this organization this season.
Did you learn anything about Bob Melvin this week?
I'm starting to see some things with Bob Melvin. I've been asking what the difference is between him and Gabe. We'll start to see the lineups, starting to see some of the late-inning maneuvering after not having good late-inning maneuvering in a Tuesday night. I didn't think he managed that ninth inning very well.
I agree.
The open base, so O'Neill Cruz, you allow him to hit, swing the bat, tie the game. You walk him, get to Connor Joe. The numbers actually back that up to go to Connor Joe instead of O'Neill Cruz. But Melvin, over the last 2 games, he's pressing all the right buttons.
I really like the way he's trying to figure out his bullpen right now, and it feels like he, through trial by error, has found a way to get Randy Rodriguez out there multiple times in a row. He's had 6 appearances overall. He's got the 16 strikeouts, and you've noticed every single time that he goes out there, he's almost, hey, you go into this situation, clean inning, another clean inning, low leverage situation. And then yesterday, with basically as high of a leverage situation as you could find, giving him the ball, to me, it was him saying, here you go, young man. Show me what you've got, because there are jobs that are open on this team.
And he passed with flying colors. And he was backed by Matt Chapman. The plays, could you explain the plays he made that bottom of the 8th inning? I mean, he's going left, he's going right, he's throwing seeds to first base. I'm like, what is this? You know what it's giving me?
Oh, what's that?
It's really giving me JT Snow vibes. I know JT Snow was a first baseman. I know he was a first baseman, but JT Snow would make plays at first base. So I'm just like, wow, and he made him look routine. Remember one game, they were playing the Cubs in the series at Wrigley Field. He made like back-to-back plays and back-to-back innings. And it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Jay, you remember the games I'm talking about?
An elite defender can be a weapon in itself.
And Chapman is giving me those vibes. Defensively, as third baseman, I can't recall the Giants having anybody. Matt Williams is really good at third base.
Good,
really
but not
good.
this.
But not this.
No.
This is elite.
So it's interesting. Like when you dig into the batter's box and you know you have a guy let's say you pull the ball. You're a righty, right? You pull the ball, meaning you're going to hit it down the line or at least toward the third baseman. If that's what your bread and butter is, and you know there's a guy over there that is the best in the game, it is in your head a little. It is. It's like it's in your head. Like, I don't want to hit it at him, And then now maybe instead of not thinking and you're just reacting and swinging and being fluid, now you're just a split second off or you're thinking. And then the other thing about him, watching Pablo play third base, he played even with the bag, meaning the depth of where he was on the field. Imagine the baseline, if there's a straight line between third and second, he played even with the bag. Again, I've only been to a couple games this year, but when I watch Chapman, he plays deep, really deep. He's back behind the bag.
Arenado plays deep too, right?
Yes.
And they come from the same high school.
You know why?
Maybe it's something that they learned in high school.
They can cover more ground, but they have the arm to get away with it.
Exactly.
Right?
Strong
and so
arms.
The thing that I've noticed about Matt Chapman, again, I did not know his feet were this good.
Yes.
I knew the glove was good and his reaction time and all that and his arm was good. But the way his feet move in concert with the rest of his body to be able to time the chopper out. This is one thing I say about great infielders. We say it all the time to the kids. Notice the great infielders never take a bad hop. You know why? Because they understand their cadence of feet backing up or coming forward, when to time the hop so it comes out perfect. So the balls you're talking about, Randy Rodriguez, the one chopped to the left in the 6.5 hole toward the shortstop, he going to his left, catches. Some guys might flip open this way and try to throw like they're Mahomes. You're going to be errant. You're not going to get a lot of mustard on it. He catches it this way, stops, turns, pivots, which is the fundamentally sound way to do it, and just throws an absolute frozen rope to get Joey Bart out. Did you see how deflated Joey Bart was?
Joey Bart was deflated. But when it all comes to Matt Chapman and the glove, right? We knew they were signing up for the glove. But one thing I thought on this team was they need him to hit.
Yeah.
They need him to hit.
He's
batting cleanup. He's batting fifth. If we're going to put him in these premium spots in the lineup, he's going to have to hit. In April, it was nasty. He batted .212. The OPS was under 600. All right, the on-base percentage was sitting at 264. It was nasty. Then he gets to May, and the calendar flips. And guys are breaking down, and guys around him, and he's saying, look, I got to get going here, right? Well, he's gotten going. In the last 7 days, he's batting .565. In the month of May, he's batting .289. He's got 4 Jackson, 13 RBIs, and he's starting to carry this lineup. Now the OPS is over 900. Think about it. April was 597. Right now in the month of May, it's 907. His OPS, his on-base percentage, 379 in the month of May. It was 264 in April. So for this team on this roster, unfortunately, Matt Chapman's going to have to hit.
Yeah.
He's going to have to, whether it's 240, 250, but he's going to have to show some power, right? He's going to have to hit 20 to 25 jacks for this roster in order to get to where they need to get to, and that's the playoffs. Well, the bat is coming around for Matt Chapman. That's the biggest development, I think, in his game and for this right. Outside of the youngsters.
Yeah.
Obviously, the youngsters, Ramos and Montos and Luciano, we can talk about them all day long. But Chapman's bat coming around, to me, has been the biggest development over the last 3 weeks for the Giants.
So I remember when they acquired him, a lot of people were like, is he that much better than J.D. Davis? And I'm asking, just casually, defensively, he's better than him. That's obvious. Offensively, I don't remember J.D. Davis having a week like this.
No, J.D., come on.
I don't know
who was crying about J.D. Davis. The only thing I was laughing about with J.D. Davis was him ripping Farhan and the whole arbitration thing, which I thought was shady. But J.D. Davis, ain't nobody losing sleep over him. Come on.
If Chapman, if he's just a streaky player and he's going to go through ups and downs, I will take the ups with the downs, because when he's up, he's red hot. He won you this series.
Right.
Defensively and offensively, he was the hottest player in this series.
He was really, really good in this series. So his bat is coming around, which has been, it's huge, because now he's batting behind Lamont Wade Jr.,
yes,
who's always on base. He's batting behind Ramos, who's been getting on base, and he's batting behind Luis Matos. So this 1, 2, 3, 4 setup, I like it. I like it because you're a lot more athletic at the top of the lineup. So if Luis Matos hits a single, for example, and he's off first base, well, I know if Lamont Wade Jr. hits one to the gap, Matos is scoring.
Yeah.
It's not just playing station-to-station baseball that we see for so many years, whether it was the Brandons in the lineup, whether it was Buster Posey. I got guys who can go first to third, first to home, second to home. They could score in a single. You got a lot more speed. And now, it hasn't translated necessarily into stolen bases. That's the next evolution in this offense, getting on a base pass and making things happen, like Luciano did late in the game. But at least you're more athletic to where if you do get on base, my guys are scoring from second base on the single. My guys are scoring on the gapper, whether it's left center or right center. I think it's a very underrated aspect in the way today's baseball is played.
Well, that's
with the lack of shifting. They take it away to shifting. You got the 3-batter minimum. Can you have speed, and can you force the defense to be perfect, whether it's relay throws, whether it's grounders or short or second? Now you're a lot more athletic at the top of the lineup, which is what I've been clamoring for.
But their IQ is better, too. Their running IQ is better. I swear to you, I thought the last 2 seasons was the worst base running teams I've ever seen in my life.
Awful.
IQ, instincts, speed, athleticism, speed, all of those things. But they were so bad. How many different running backs? Getting a hit for the Giants last couple of years, well, can you get a second one? Well, if you're running into outs on the base pass, you're taking the bat right out of your team's hands. You don't slug enough to overcome base running mistakes. This team is not only athletic and they're aggressive. Seeing Luciano aggressively take 2 bags, seeing Matos aggressive in the 9th inning the other night, that's been the difference in the series.
No, it has. It has. It really has. 888-957-9570. What's been the biggest surprise for you during this win streak, Giants fans? What has been the biggest surprise for you? 888-957-9570. Because as they are hitting and playing so well, the biggest surprise to me, Shasky, I started off, is Lamont Wade Jr. I thought Lamont Wade Jr. caught lightning in the bottom of 2021. My expectations for him coming into the season, it was very low.
Yeah.
I thought Wilmer should have been playing at times over Lamont Wade Jr. To me, he's been the biggest surprise. Not that he's not capable of doing what he's doing, but the consistency in what he's doing. You ever heard a peep about him? All he's doing is batting 336, 338. All he's doing is getting on base. All he's doing is driving in runs. To me, he's been the biggest surprise of the season so far.
I'm going to go my biggest surprise this season.
So far?
Yeah, I think it's been Elliot Ramos because I didn't think 2 years ago he was anything. Remember when he came up and I just wasn't impressed at all, and I was like, all right, I'm going to give that up. He has been a jolt of energy. I think he's gotten thicker, but leaner in the waist, and I feel like I'm Low Neal now. And then his energy has been infectious. His
Right.
defense has been much better than it was a couple years ago. And his at-bats in terms of grinding have been better. He's driving the ball, even though he doesn't have like robust home run numbers. And he's just putting together great at-bats. He went the other way multiple times in this series in big situations. I didn't know he's this clutch. Because he's had big clutch at bats. And to me, he looks like a guy who is fighting for a major league roster spot.
No, he is. He's fighting for his life, as Mark Jackson would say.
He really is.
He's fighting for it. Like, go ahead, love me, get in.
No, just we're talking about what's surprising us during this hot streak. Right now, it's just I'm kind of surprised by like how much I believe this team can get back like into this game when they're down, or their ability to bounce back after a tough loss. Like after Joey Bart hit that, there's the word I was looking for, resiliency. After Joey Bart hit that grand slam yesterday, I was listening in the car on my way back, and it was just like my first thought was, wow, I guess we got him right where we want him at this right now. Like we're down 5-1 in the middle of the game. Like I guess we're gonna do this. I'm kind of jokingly saying that, but like at the same time, it's like when this team's down, I have that feeling like they could kind of score right now. They could work their way back into games and make these games interesting. You didn't feel like that last year. And we're talking about the differences between Melvin and Kapler. That loss on Tuesday night, if that loss had happened last year, this team's probably spiraling out of control. After that happened, there's lots of losses coming after it.
Good point.
Seeing them bounce back with these 2 comeback wins after that devastating loss on Tuesday, I think that kind of goes to show that. I mean, I'm not giving it all to Melvin. The players play too, but I think Melvin, this clubhouse is just a lot more professional. It's just it feels like a real baseball clubhouse where these guys they operate like baseball players. Whereas unlike last year, it was just kind of a hodgepodge.
So wait, they didn't operate like baseball players last year? Well, what's the biggest difference in terms of professionalism? Like, because I heard last year
they feel connected.
Well, but I heard this at times last year.
But that does.
Boy, they really feel. I remember. I'm not putting Lubman on the spot here, but I remember Lubman way through the years like. Well, Jock Peterson kind of galvanizes his clubhouse. It's a lot looser. It's a lot looser. Then the Poisson problem came out a few months later, and they were saying the clubhouse. So, like, I've heard these things about the clubhouse the last 2 years.
But have you seen the dugout explode like that?
I haven't seen it like that.
But Bonte, to your point, here's the difference, though. Those teams under Gabe Kapler, when things were good, like, they were really, really good. Guys were connecting. Guys were having fun. But when things kind of got tough, when the times got tough, when they started going on a losing streak, it was really hard for them to kind of get back onto those good times. Like this year, though, the difference is when the times are bad, I feel like they're just much better kind of like reworking that energy into a positive way where you just didn't have that last year.
Well, they showed it this series against Pittsburgh, losing Tuesday and then coming back and bouncing back Wednesday, winning that game in the fashion that they did.
Well, I thought yesterday's game, to me, to just my eyes, that was the signature win thus far for Bob Melvin. The way he utilized the opener and he hit all like that. You fall behind and you pinch hit McKenna for Yaz. You pinch hit McKenna later on with Wilmer Flores. You pinch run Marco Luciano. You move Brett Wisely as your shortstop to center field. And I know Luciano made a mistake, but Luciano's base running is what kept you in there. Right. And you stick with Brett Wisely and he gets the big hit and the knock. You go with Randy Rodriguez. You go with Tyler Rogers late in that game. You dust off Taylor Rogers. To me, that was him utilizing the roster he had available on a day against one of the most dynamic prospects in baseball, Skeens. I thought that was a signature Bob Melvin win.
It was a big win for him. The last 2 wins were big for the Giants here. So biggest surprise, 707, Xfinity Mobile text line. Biggest surprise, they could beat bad teams. All right, they're beating up on bad teams. That's why I'm excited to see what you have to do that. But half the league is bad anyway. But now I'm looking forward to these next 5 series. I'm really excited over the next 2 weeks. Mets, Phillies, Yankees, Diamondbacks.
That's a big one.
And the Rangers.
I feel like we're getting the Diamondbacks at just the right time, too.
Well, I think they just beat the Dodgers, too.
No, but I'm just saying for the Giants, like they're starting to click.
That's Diamondbacks could start to click, too.
That's true.
That's
Corbin Carroll can't play any worse.
I mean, the Diamondbacks last year were all up and down. 1 week they were like, 10 games out of first, and then all of a sudden they're in it again.
It was that series against the Giants late in the season.
But the Diamondbacks, that series that's 9 games away.
Yeah.
So who knows where the Diamondbacks will be?
True.
Hell, we don't even know where the Giants will be by that stretch.
9 days ago or 9 games ago, the season
we were
was
down
done.
bad.
Season was done. I heard a lot of season is done. Fire Farhad now. Blah 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 blah.
It's going to be a very emotional roller coaster of a season with this Giants team.
That's baseball, though.
Yeah,
that's baseball.
Well, did you see the video that came out yesterday? Some guy going back to TikTok. He was talking about like in the NFL, his reaction. It's just one game. We get him next week. And then in Major League Baseball, 1 of 62. I can't believe we blew that game with our ace starter out there. There is something about Major League Baseball, yeah, we have an inventory of games and people go, but you do go crazy when you lose a singular game the way the Giants did.
Day, and I hate
exactly.
How's he screaming now?
I got a phone call from him
series.
yesterday. You too?
Yeah, I did too.
The baby got 4 shots yesterday. Shout out Dr. Coda. And Guru calls me, goes, you got to be feeling good. I go, about what? Like, what are we talking about, Goo? And he's like, oh, my Buccos, they lose in horrific ways.
Daryl?
Daryl?
No. Aroldis
The fact that he's a Pirate fan is just hilarious. It's just hilarious. What was Pittsburgh? Were they calling for California Daryl yesterday on the Pittsburgh postgame show? I said, I'm a Pirate fan. You got to have more hope than that. Was that on his show or was that on the postgame?
That was, I think, the Pirate fan one was from Steiny and Goo. The other one, the Daryl's from when he called into, was it 93.7 The Fan out in Pittsburgh? Andrew Filipponi.
Again, it's
He's
only
their
May.
version of Nick in San Jose.
Yeah, it's only
We're
only
a
May.
77-win team, dude.
It's only May. That's why I don't freak out. The time to freak out to me.
upset.
The time to freak out for me when it comes to baseball is once we get to July.
Oh, I'll freak out anytime.
Yeah, well, I know
That's
you will.
baseball.
I mean, you worried and you freak out. We know that, Shasky.
That's
we
baseball.
Know that. We know that. But I do want to pump the brakes. Like, I'm feeling good right now about these wins. I don't want to even rain on the parade. I felt great about the win yesterday. Felt great about the win Wednesday. But my mind has set up. Now I'm saying, okay, how real is this? Because, again, you got the Mets who've lost 8 of 10. You got to take advantage of that. But then you get the best team in baseball, Philadelphia. You get the New York Yankees. You get the Diamondbacks. You get the Rangers. Then you get the Astros at home. And the Astros are trying to figure out what are they going to do if they continue to scuffle? What if they get hot? Will they keep the core together? Then you got the Angels, but then you got a big series in Chicago against the Cubs. I mean, the schedule just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. So I do want to see what the youngsters do against the big boys over the weekend. All right.